and just come here to a little bit of mountain pose. So that means we're gonna roll our shoulders open, palms are gonna face forward, and then you're gonna start coming into a Pilates vertical neutral stance. So we're not arching, we're not tucking, we're in neutral. So you automatically feel your abs engaged. You're pressing your feet into the ground, toes and heels are connected, no light between the feet. And now we're gonna take a couple breaths here. So inhale, we're gonna fill up the rib cage with air. So I am teaching Pilates breathing, not yoga. And on the exhale, cinch the waist, belly button towards spine. So again, we're gonna take a nice big inhale through the nose, and then a big exhale release through the mouth. So if you can, make your exhales a little more forceful with this practice here today. So I'll be talking a lot, you won't hear my breath, but if you can, try and practice that within yourself. So maybe you can roll those shoulders back one more time, bring the shoulder blades closer together, chin parallel to floor, crown head, reach to the ceiling. And now from here, we're gonna go ahead and bring our arms straight up in the air. We're just gonna tick-tock from side to side. So ears are in alignment with the biceps. Our hips are stacked. We're just swaying from side to side. And now we're gonna take a couple forward folds. Maybe sway those hips, so this is not really a posture. We're just warming up to our practice. Let the hands go if you need to. Maybe a little shake of the head, no, shake of the head, yes. And then we'll stop the movement. We're gonna come up with a control, like our roll up, bone by bone, as slow as you can go to get up to the top. Roll the shoulders back and down, and we're coming into our position here. So palms come up. You're gonna steeple grip, so you might not be able to see my hands, but they look like this. You have a steeple grip, and they're straight up in the air. Ears and biceps are connected, so you're almost like you're trying to squeeze the side of your head with your biceps. Take a nice big inhale, and on the exhale, you're gonna go ahead and take yourself off to the side here. So just like sideline and mat Pilates, it's like we're between two window panes of glass, so you can open up your side body. You wanna feel this big stretch between that last rib and hip here. Take a nice big inhale, and on the exhale, we're gonna return right back up to center. So engage in those abdominals, pull the abdominals in a little bit more, and now we travel over to the other side. Opening up our side body. Just noticing if one side feels a little bit more tight than the other. Just kind of recognize it and see what you can do to improve that stretch. Use your breath a little bit more. And maybe you can just press a little bit more, so really squeezing those ears with your biceps. Arms are as straight as they can be. One more sip of air, and on the exhale, we rise up to the top. So rising up to the top, our next one, we're gonna press our arms way, way back so that the ears are maybe, the arms are a little further back than the ears if that's available. If you like a back bend or to look up, you're gonna do that, but otherwise I'm gonna keep it a little bit more Pilates where we're just working on staying tall. So deep in the inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth. And now you're gonna soften up in those knees, press the legs firmly together, come down in a flat back. So this is a lot more challenging when we try and keep those ears and biceps in alignment, and we got our forward fold, let it go. So just kind of take that forward fold, press down one heel and then the other, so you're just kind of marching it out. A little bit of a stretch, and now let the head hang heavy. So this one, if you haven't done this before, the hand comes under like you're cupping the heel, thumb goes to the outside. Same thing on the other side. Immediately, it's a balance challenge, so make sure the belly button's up and in. Thumbs are on the outside, pinkies are connected, and now look at your knees, press them together. If you're tight like me in your hamstrings, you're gonna be shaking and this is gonna be hard. But you're gonna try and stretch out the legs any amount while keeping the forearms behind your calves. Modified position, just hold here with hands behind your calves. But otherwise, you're getting this deep stretch. Keep pulling the belly button towards the spine. We got a few more seconds here. And now you're gonna release one heel, release the other. Steeple grip the hands, come back to your flat back. We rise all the way up to the top. Bring your hands all the way down by your side and just kind of roll those shoulders back. Come back to your mountain pose. So just kind of come back to breath. Inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth. Maybe roll those shoulders back one more time, palms facing outward, knuckles facing back. So breathing through them. The next one, we're gonna go ahead, stand back a little bit on your mat. We're gonna take our feet about a hip distance apart, so about 6 inches or so, but hip distance apart here. So hips are facing forwards. What I love about this practice is very much like Pilates. There's not a lot of twisting and turning. It's staying in your position, staying very neutral within the frame of your body. Arms go out long and straight. Push the shoulders down away from the ears. Press the fingertips together here. So you're gazing out in front. And now engaging those abdominals. So pull, almost like you want to feel like the inner thighs are touching here. So pull up the pelvic floor, cinch the waist, plant your heels to the ground. So don't let them rise for the first one. Start to soften up in the knees, send your hips back so that your knees don't get to pass your toes. Really active in the shoulders, you're letting the shoulders go down. Now, I'm not very low. You could go lower, or you could even come up higher. The first one I tend to not like to get as low. There's 3 parts to this. We're gonna do this about 3 times. Each one will be different, but each one you have an opportunity to get a little bit deeper. So your fingertips are reaching, you're pressing them together, no light between the fingers. So I love this move because it's so similar to bar. So breathe through them. Inhale through the nose, maybe you can get a little bit lower. Breathe, long inhales, long exhales. And now we're gonna slowly travel up to the top. This whole sequence, don't let your hands go down. We're exhausting them, keeping them lifted. Come to a releve, so you have your highest pair of heels. You're high on your tippy toes. This posture is all about the high heels. So you're gonna start to soften up in the knees, but you don't wanna compromise the high heels. So you still want super high heels rather than getting low and the heels are hardly off the floor. So your highest heels, and then you soften the knees any amount you can. That's your add-on. Push the shoulders down away from the ears. Gaze is right out in front, chin parallel to floor. If you're working hard here, you'll be shaking like myself, and then slowly bring it up to the top. Heels come down, keep the feet at this hip distance apart. Our next one, press the knees together. This one's a little awkward. Knees are together, but our feet are not. You're gonna slowly start to travel down and allow the heels to rise as you go down. This is meant to be the lowest one. If this is not for you, you're not getting down that low, but your goal is to not sit on the heels. We are lifted, and you'll notice a difference if you just tried what I did and lifted yourself up. That's where the work is at. Push the shoulders down away from the ears. You got these. I know this is a pretty tough one. Breathe through them. Inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth. We're gonna hold right here. Use your powerhouse to rise up to the top. Bring those heels down, bring your feet toe ball back together, hands come down, you're back at your mountain pose. So that should feel really good. So just roll the shoulders back, just checking in with the camera, make sure there's no issues here. Hey Lisa, I'm so glad you're joining in. Hope you like this one. So big breath of air, so nice big inhale, nice big exhale. So engage our abdominals, we're not arching, we're not tucking, we're in neutral spine. So our next one, we take our arms straight up over the head. We're gonna bring the right arm underneath the left. And you're gonna go ahead and either prayer hands, hold them together, something that feels good. If this doesn't feel okay, just hold on to your shoulders instead. So here's your position. If you're still adding on, soften in the knees, lift the right leg, wrap it around. You're really squeezing the inner thighs. Your last progression, you wrap the toes around and you sink even lower. Now something you want to avoid is your knees fanning to one side or the other. Hips still face forward. So we are staying with our hips square to our wall or whatever you're facing here. Maybe you can sink a little lower. You're pushing your shoulders actively down. So your back really involved here. Abs are in. We have a nice strong back. So we're trying not to round or arch. We're in neutral. Almost like a flat back. And then from here, take a nice big inhale. On the exhale, we rise. Uncross the hands. Hands immediately come up overhead. And now the left hand comes underneath the right. You got the same thing. So either prayer, something that feels good, and then press those elbows down so they're making your shoulders go down away from those ears. Inhale, and on the exhale, we lift the left leg. You're gonna lift it up, you're gonna wrap it, and now if you have that a second time around the calf, you add on. Maybe you can sink a little lower, pull those abs in a little bit deeper. So breathing through these, inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth, creating your own heat in the body by getting to your edge, your low point, where you need to be. So inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth. You got this. And then we slowly uncross the legs, bring our arms straight up overhead, hands come down by our side. So a quick breath of air, we can come back to our mountain pose, and then you will travel back to the back of your mat. You will need that position, you'll need your full mat for the next move. So our next posture is standing bow. We're gonna bring our hand right to the outside of our elbow. You could stay here the whole time practicing mountain and be active in your abdominals in engagement. That would be your really basic move here. Still progressing, you're gonna hold on to the back of the foot where you're grabbing from the instep. So even notice my thumb is not on top of my sole. All my fingertips and my thumb are underneath. Knees are in alignment. Still adding on, other hand goes straight up in the air. Still adding on, you fold forward, you're in your fullest expression. This one is pretty challenging. This one you are welcome to hold a wall. If we were in studio, that's what a lot of people would be doing for this position, so it's a great modified way. Or just staying up at the top. Be where you need to be. So breathing through them. So you want to gaze right over that middle finger. So you are staring out. Roll the shoulder back, the one especially that's holding that foot. So it's a really big heart opener there as well. Deep inhale. On the exhale, we come down the same way we came up. So hand will come down first. Our foot comes down. And a quick breather, meet in mountain pose, so that you have that opportunity to stand tall again. So this is an active position, so we're not slumping. We really are standing in our best position possible. Abs are in, and then we're moving off, traveling to the other side. So we're gonna go ahead, hold that foot. Once again, you're grabbing from the instep. Thumb and all the fingers should wind up at the top of your foot. And then your knees in line with the knee, your hips are still facing forward. The other hand comes straight up if you're still progressing here. Take a nice big inhale. On the exhale, we travel forward if you have that in your practice. You can also hold onto wall. If you're really flexible, you're gonna start pressing your foot into the hand, and that's gonna travel up. For me, this is pretty challenging, so I need to keep my leg a little bit closer to me. So your gaze is out in front over your fingertips. Breathing through them. Staying still because you are engaging those abs. We're moving from our center the entire practice. Abdominals are up and in, and we're breathing. We're keeping the breath flowing. One of the most important parts of the practice, even though we're Pilates breathing. We're keeping it nice and fluid. We're gonna go ahead and take one more sip of air. Maybe fold out 1 inch further, and then we exhale, bring it right back up. So hands come down by your side. Quick breath. So it's amazing how the heart rate does get a little bit up with these movements. But our next one is going to be the biggest one of all for that. So modified position, I'm gonna show that one first. Hands come to the hips. If you have any shoulder injuries or anything with holding the hands over the head or too high a heart rate. Otherwise, arms come up. You're gonna find that steeple grip. So pointers together. You're, once again, really squeezing the ears with the biceps. Push the shoulders down away from the ears. And now lift the right leg up. Another one of my favorite bar type of moves here. Point the toe, get like a leg, and you charge forward. And the back leg lifts. So your position could be here. You can also keep that back leg on the ground, and you'll notice it's still a really big balance challenge. But you're aiming for your flattest back. Square your hips. We got 4, 3, 2, 1. Rise up. Don't let the hands go down. Stay here. So breathe through it. Deep inhale. On the exhale, we lift the other leg. Point to toe, get line in the leg, and you charge forward. Square your hips. And then your ears are in alignment with your biceps. You have these nice long back leg if you can. If you need to, that foot comes down, and of course your hands do too. You're trying to get your flattest back possible. It should feel like our extension work in Pilates. It's hard, it's challenging. For 3, come down. Take a quick breath. Whew, that one always gets me. I love that one, but at the same time, it's tough. So quick breather. And then our next one, we come to the top of our mat. So you come to the top of mat. Now I'll be facing Cameron, but I'll be facing the wall in the other direction here. So once again, time check. Okay, good. Our hands come straight over our head here. So this time you have your prayer hands, thumbs crossed. So I know, but my hands, I try to get as far back in the camera, but it's too hard. All right, so we're gonna go ahead from here. Once again, active, ears to biceps, push the shoulders down away from the ears, pull the abdominals in, take a really big step out. This is your biggest one yet. So now take your arms out to a T, hold here. You start folding forward with your best flat back. Don't let the arms come down. So coming down slow and controlled. Once you get down, then release your hands. You're holding the outside of the feet. Maybe you're right up here. Our goal here, so if you do a lot of yoga, it's not to put your head on the ground. It's more to get a flat back. So we're trying to get our forehead almost like towards the mat so that you can send your shoulders down away from your ears. And it's a really big hamstring stretch. This one's a really nice, probably my favorite one of the sequence because you could just stay here all day, right? And then if you're pretty flexible, you start softening the elbows and they look like a square U a little bit. That's going to bring you down further. Take one more sip of air here. Enjoy this nice big stretch. Your arms come out to a T. We start rising up mat flat back. We'll pull those abdominals in. It's a balance challenge to get up. And so you don't hurt your knee. I like to soften up and then hop it back. And then clap those hands back together. Hands come down by your side. So quick breath here. Quick breather. Hey Caroline, I'm glad you're taking class. Awesome. It's a good lengthening one. All right, so our next one, we bring our hands, we're gonna clap them. So lots of energy here. Take our step out again. This one doesn't have to be quite as far. Arms out like that same T. They're active, press the palms down. And now toes, that active leg, the one that stepped out, toes are gonna turn out. And now you're bending into that knee. But you're not letting the knee go over your toes. So just a few presses here, and then try and press that back heel back. Toes are more forward, so you're on an angle. And then we soften up for our triangle position. So if you do triangle in regular yoga, we're not getting that deep, we're not getting that low, we're about gonna keep this knee heavily bent and just keep our elbow in alignment. Look up at the ceiling if that's available. If not, gaze is out in front. And then lean in a little bit more with the front thigh so you get a little bit more of an inner thigh stretch. So we're still in this balance challenge a little bit, so make sure your abs are up and in. We got one more breath cycle here. And then make sure you pull those abdominals in on the lift. So pulling in so you move from your center. Turn the position of your feet to face the other direction here. So now we're bending. Tiny little presses, lining the body up. Maybe that back heel needs to go a little further back. And now hold. You start to lean and come into that triangle. And then that top arm, you're looking over the back shoulder. Push the shoulder down away from the ear. Open up in the chest, bothers your head, you're looking out in front. Elbow to knee, and keep pressing with that elbow to get the leg to open up more so you're getting a nice big opening stretch here. So big breathing here. Inhale, fill up the rib cage with air. Exhale, cinch your waist, your belly button towards spine. Maybe you can travel 1 inch deeper. Last breath cycle here. On the exhale, we're gonna pull our abdominals in and travel back to the top. We're back in our T here. We're gonna step it back in, clap the hands, bring it down. Quick breather. So hope we're all doing good. We're almost through the standing sequence. So we're moving, we're traveling fast. All right, so our next one, we bring our hands up overhead. So hands overhead, this time you're back to a steeple grip and you're really locking those ears again with your biceps. Pull the abdominals in, step out only about 3 feet, maybe even 2 feet if you need it. And now we rotate both feet. So almost like you're walking, but we don't want them railroad like we're walking balance beam. So they are offset. And now from here, both legs straight, bring your chin to your chest, start rounding over. It's a balance challenge here. You're coming down to your point. If you need to, separate the hands, count on them. But more advanced, we stay in this grip. Hold it, ears in line with biceps. Pull those abdominals in. So we want the belly to feel like someone's about to punch us, so make sure it's active. And then this is a little bit of a throat choking posture, so really good for thyroid issues and stuff like that. So if you feel a little bit like that with your chin to the chest, you got it right. That's what we need. So little detox here, a little bit of a challenge. Abs are in. Can you take it one more inch further, and then use your core to rise back up the way you traveled down. So we're going to keep our hands like that. We turn our position. So now our toes are facing the other direction. Engage in those abdominals, start rounding in the spine. You're coming all the way back down. So you should definitely feel this balance challenge lowering down this way. Ears in line with the biceps. Hands to the floor. If you need to separate them, do what you need. So breathe through them. Maybe you can get down one more inch. Really enjoy this nice big stretch in the back side of the body, releasing those hamstrings. And then bring the chin to the chest so you're feeling this in your thyroid again. A little throat choking posture. And then from here we travel up using our core. Coming back up to the top. Almost lost my balance there. And then we can go ahead and come up. So bringing our feet together, just shake that out. You guys are going to find mountain pose. Just checking in. Hey, Janice. Okay, so from here, we are almost done with our standing sequence. 2 more postures to go. So our next one is tree. So tree, you're going to go ahead and bring your foot. This would be your first level. Your next level would be the foot to the calf. The next level would be that foot comes to the inner thigh. And then our 26 version, which I'm doing here today, is grabbing that foot, comes to the outside, and then you have all your fingertips and your thumb wrapping here, and you are holding the stretch. If you can still add on, one hand comes to heart center, or just be active the hip, maybe straight up over the head, something that speaks to you that is a challenge. And then something that we do to progress this one, feel free, you could stay right here, or you start, bring your hands to prayer, you come down till you are seated on top of your heel. So this one's pretty challenging. If this doesn't feel right in your knees, don't worry. Many people agree. It took me a long time to be able to get down to the ground. So just kind of holding this position if you like. So breathing through them. Inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth. And then we travel up the same way we came down. So once you find your balance, you come back to that prayer hands. You release the foot, and we come back to mountain. Just release, come back to breath, and then we get to switch sides. So taking tree the way you took it on the other side. So anyway, I'm coming all the way back up to that toe stand position. That hand comes right to heart center. Engage in those abdominals. And we'll just stay here for a few breaths before we travel down to that toe stance. So breathing through them. Inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth. When you're ready, if you're progressing, you're going to start folding forward. If you're not, you're staying up at the top. You're still holding the previous move. So hands come to prayer, and then you start traveling down until you're seated tall on your heel, if that's possible. This is my tight side, so this side is always a little bit harder for me. It's a really nice hip opener if you're down at the bottom as well. It's a little bit deeper, of course, than being up at the top, but they both do the same thing. So either one you're in, you're getting all the benefits stretching there. So one more breath, and then we travel up to the top. So this one's top. Bring the hands to heart center, bring the hands down, come to your mountain, quick breath. If you want a quick sip of water, go ahead and take it. We've got a really short Shavasana. So we're going to cross our ankles over. We're going to genie arms to come down Pilates style if you like. Any way you can get to the mat. Legs are now going long and straight here, but you're going to travel down like the roll down. So Super slow. And now let it go. Hands can come down by your side. So just kind of take, we don't have a lot of time because I had to shorten the sequence, but just take one breath. Make sure that this pose, try and bring it active. So get the shoulders down, open up the chest, let your palms go up, just like our standing mountain pose. So try and feel the same way. Take one more sip of air, and on the exhale, we have this wind ring moving pose. So we're gonna hug the knee into the chest. That knee comes to the outside of your rib cage. If you want more activity and it to feel a little more abdominal-ish, Pilates-ish, you could lift up your head, neck, and shoulders. We'll do a little crossbody here, if that feels okay to you. Bring it back into center. Release that leg. So nice big inhale. On the exhale, pull the other knee in. Knee comes to the underarm. So hug that knee in. And then slowly crossbody. So if this is your first time ever doing a sequence like this, generally standing, that takes about 45 minutes. So I just condensed it into about 25. So you can redo this video if you like and just make it, slow it down. And then slowly bringing it right back. And we'll bring the leg out long and straight here. We're gonna come into our first roll up here. So roll up, in this, we're gonna treat it more like Pilates. So we're gonna go slow and controlled. We're gonna come up bone by bone, hard flexing the feet. Rise up to the top, reach and lengthen, let it go. So spine stretch forward. We come out forward. So we're coming onto our belly now. We're coming into an extension work. So we're coming into what they call cobra, which will be like swan, because I won't be going that big or that deep. So we'll start out with our hands in alignment with our chest. I hope you can see me from the mat. I'm just going to check where my mat is and see if I need to lower. Just let me know if you can't see me. It's hard to see with the writing there. Okay, so hands are in alignment with the chest. And now from here, bring your heels, feet are in alignment with your hips, as long as you don't have any low back issues. Press the pelvis firmly into your mat. Take a nice big inhale, and on the exhale, we're going to press up. Hold it up at the top. If you can add on, remove your hands for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower all the way back down. Shimmy the hips from side to side. Quick break. So deep inhale, deep exhale. Our next one, we're going to go ahead and lift up our head, neck, and shoulders here. So this one, you're just holding it up and come right back down. So that upper body is not going to come up. We're going to just stack our palms. So I'm taking a little bit different hand movement for this one so that you keep your forehead and your hands connected here. So deep inhale, on the exhale, point the toe, lift the right leg so you fire up your glute and hamstring. Keep the upper body now sealed to the ground. Breathe through this. So if you're feeling anything in the low back, I want you to travel your leg down lower towards the floor. One more breath cycle here, and we bring that foot right back down. Shimmy the hips from side to side, and then get active again. So make sure those abdominals are in. Pull up the pelvic floor, cinch the waist, push your pelvis into the mat, and lift your left leg. Keep your hands and your forehead glued to the ground. So breathe through this. Inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth. So we really want to fire up those glutes. Thighs are just slightly lifted like our extension work in Pilates. And go ahead and bring it all the way back down. So shimmy the hips from side to side. Our next one's going to be combining the two. So if that doesn't feel okay, stick with the previous move. So our next one, we lift up the legs together. So they're one unit. Hold them up at the top. And if you can, we're going to add on a little Pilates by pressing the heels together. Press those heels apart. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and let it go. So we're going to press up to the top. We roll over. So we're going to go ahead and roll over here. We're coming into our roll up. So coming down, bone by bone. Arms are long and straight. Hard flexing the feet. You come up bone by bone. So breathe through them. If you don't like the roll up, which they call the sit up, in between each one, you can just take it to a child's pose in between each one. That'll be your modified version, but traditionally it is a roll up between each one here. So our next one is going to be bow. So some of these are starting to get a little bit more teach it from a lower level first. So forehead can stay on top, you can bring your heel to the seat. So you would just take turns bringing each heel to the seat. More advanced, and we do have this position actually in Pilates as well, but it's more of a fluid movement. Hand comes to the outside of the foot, and then same thing on the other side. And now bring the knees together like you're squeezing a block or a ball between them. So don't let the knees fan out to the side. If you can add on, you're going to lift up any amount, trying to get the thighs off the floor, keep the knees together, and then we'll go for a little rocking motion like we do in Pilates for 5, 4, 3, 2, last one, let it go, child's pose. Stretch it out. So quick breather. We flip over, we've got flat, we've got our roll up again. So first we're gonna come down Pilates style to get there. Come down bone by bone. Breathe, hard flex the feet, arms reach, lengthen, and then you're rising right back up the same way. Spine stretch forward. Restack your spine, we flip over. So again, our next one, this one is pretty tough. So any knee issues, feel free to just come into maybe a little core laying on your belly or take it to a child's pose. But you try and get enough space for your seat to be down to the floor. If you have a block or something to sit on, that would be your modified position or a towel underneath your seat. Otherwise, you're trying to keep the knees close together, heels are out to the sides. So this could go wrong for any reason, ankle injuries or anything like that. If this doesn't feel good, just sit on your bottom with your bent knees and do a little core. So first level, you start to lean back. Maybe you're on your forearms. If you're still adding on, another modified version would be just extending out one leg as well if you need to. And then more advanced, we start to lower all the way down. Most advanced, your hands go back over your head. Some people love it, some people hate it. So completely optional. The greatest part about doing this sequence is everybody has one pose at least that they love and one that they hate. So, you know, we do have to embrace the poses that we don't like because they're usually the ones we need. So breathe through them. Inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth. Few breaths here. We're going to be super careful on the rise on this one. So you're going to hold on to one foot and then the other. And you're going to bring one forearm to the ground. So making sure you're not using your low back. Pull those abs in. Rise up, super careful, and then we turn over. You got it. We got our roll up again. So we're coming all the way back down. Hard flex in the feet, come down bone by bone. So breathe through these. Lowering all the way down. Ears in line with biceps. Pull those abdominals in. Stabilize your pelvis. Deep inhale on the exhale. Rise all the way back up. Forward fold. Restack the spine. And we'll go ahead and flip over. So you're going belly on, just closing my door so my dog doesn't come in. So we're going belly down here. So belly down, our next one, we start at the top. So we're coming onto our knees, arms are straight over the head. So maybe you're here the whole time, just working for a long spine. Press the shoulders down, you'll feel it's pretty active. If being on your knees like this doesn't work, I suggest standing tall and keeping the same position in your hands and coming down and going up. Otherwise, the goal behind this one, you're sealing the legs together, sealing the toes together, start pulling the abdominals in, you're trying to come in your best flat back, and you're trying to get the hands in your head to come down at the same time, which I have not been able to do yet, but that's our goal here, right? The more we practice, the more we can get into these positions. So arms are long and straight. You should feel this really extension in your back. Send the shoulder blades in opposition down your back. So breathe through it. And then we come up the same way we travel down, which is really hard if you try and lift those hands off the floor. Pull those abs in, keep the hands in line with your head, and bring it all the way back down. So that one's a pretty tough one when it's done right as well. Roll the shoulders back and down, and we flip over here. So coming back, we're gonna this time hold on to the back of the hamstrings, lower down with control. As slow as you can go. Arms long and straight, straighten out the legs. So deep inhale, on the exhale, we come back to our roll-ups. You guys are getting lots of practice with your roll-ups today. Slow and controlled, reach and lengthen. But I do love this practice because it's hardly anything on the joints and it's still quite a lot of work while you're lengthening as well. So our next one is camel pose. So this is the one, this is my one that I don't like as much. So from here, we can treat it a little bit more Pilates. Feel free to be here. Also, in another modified position, maybe your hands are just behind your hips and thumbs wrap around and you're just kind of taking a mini back bend. Or you're taking it off from side to side. Most advanced, both thumbs come to the outside. You let the head go. You push your pelvis forward and you're here. This is another one, a little throat choking. It's okay. Nobody likes being here. Although maybe some people do. Push the pelvis forward, breathe through it. So many good things for your body. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and surrender. This is a good one. Take your child's pose. Let it go. If you feel a little dizzy after that one, that's pretty normal. You can also get into camel, not letting the head go back, just staying high on the knees. And then we'll slowly peel all the way back up. We got to roll up, so turning around, checking that time. We're going to hold on to the back of the hamstrings again. Travel down with the control. Reach and lengthen. Arms go straight back over the head. Hard flex in the feet. Pull the abdominals in, and we peel up. You got your spine stretched forward. Restack your spine, and we'll go ahead and turn around here. So camel was the hardest one. We are on the descent, so we are almost there, guys. You're doing awesome. Stay with me. I know after those couple back-to-back, everyone's like, I'm going to shut this off now. But I promise this is where it starts getting really nice again. So take our arms. We're going to bring our arms straight down by our sides here. So gluing our knees together, our feet together. And we'll bring our chin to our chest. Thumbs come to the outside of the foot. And then you start rounding. You scoop in the belly. You're trying to get your head to wind up as close to your knees as possible. And then your head comes to the mat, but no weight in the head. So this shouldn't feel any weight in your head at all. Pinky fingers are together and sealed. Thumbs are on the outside of the heels. And you're just bringing your head as close to your knees as possible. And that's okay wherever you are. If you don't like this, take it to child's pose or puppy pose. So breathe through it. We got 2 more here. Last one, we're going to travel right back up. Scoop in those abdominals. Roll the shoulders back and down. Quick breather. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and turn around. Lay down. Holding on to the back of the hamstrings. All the stretches from here, they're really nice from this point out. So stay with me. We're coming towards the end of the series here. Arms are long and straight. Take a nice big inhale. On the exhale, you're going to come up, go web on, rise up to the top, take your forward fold. And then from here, we just spin around on our bottom, and the right leg goes out, left leg comes in. So we look like Peter Pan a lot here. Heel to the inner thigh. And then you're just out any amount that works for you that you can keep equal sits bones. And now we rotate towards that leg. Arms come straight up if you can. Maybe you cup the hands and you try and make a basket for your hands. Reach, lengthen, spine stretch forward. So breathe. So inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth. Maybe you can bring your head towards your knee a little bit more. One more breath here, can get a little further. So nice big stretch. We slowly start to bring it right back up to the top. Same thing to the other side. So bring that leg out. The other foot comes in. We rotate, so bring our hips to be square with our foot. Arms straight up, and you making a basket. So on this one, I should have said on the other side, you can soften up in the knee, and then you take it out any amount that works for you. So otherwise, your goal is trying to have the straightest leg possible, bringing your forehead towards your knee any amount. Keeping equal sits bones down to the ground. So breathe. Stretching out your back, fold a little bit more forward. Enjoying this nice big stretch. Really lengthening. And then we slowly start to come right back up to the top. So we're going to take it to a double straddle. Let both feet go out. Arms come straight over the head. Fold out any amount. Maybe your forearms are down, maybe hands are down. Anything that feels good to you. So fold it out. Inhale through the nose, exhale from the mouth. Maybe flex the feet. Maybe start to hold onto your heels if that works. Maybe you need to bring the feet in closer. Do something that works for you to release that backside. Muscles are nice and hot and they're really ready to be stretched. So this sequence is really important to do in this order so that you can get those limber muscles. Breathe, fold out a little bit more. And then rise back up to top using your core. So our next one, feet come together. It's like our spine stretch mat Pilates. So we're going to take our arms straight up over the head and fold out any amount. So in Pilates, we really don't hold our feet. But if you want, in yoga, we take the toes and you take the two fingers and you keep pressing the heels forward while bringing the toes towards you. Take your spine stretch forward. Can you fold out a little bit more? Breathe. Holding this deep stretch. Can you get a little further as if someone's behind you, pressing you forward, giving you a little assisted stretch here. Scoop in the belly. Rise to the top. Arms go out long and straight here. We come down bone by bone. So coming down bone by bone. Breathe. Slow, controlled. We've got another roll up here. So breathe through them. Inhale through the nose. And on the exhale, coming all the way back up. Reach and lengthen. You got a spine stretch forward. Restack your spine. And now from here, we're going to go ahead and cross the one leg over. So I should show this the first level. So right leg goes over left. And then this would be your position here. You got the second spine here behind you with the arm. Otherwise, more advanced. You tuck that foot underneath you. It's going to give you a little more mobility to open up a little more. Look over the back shoulder, stay tall. Pull the abdominals in here. Keep looking over that back shoulder. Enjoying this nice big stretch. One more breath cycle here. We rotate back into center. Uncross the legs. So now the other leg is long and straight. The other leg comes over. You've got that seated twist. If you're advancing, you're going to bring that heel to your seat. Sit super tall. And now we come into that nice big stretch. Super tall. You're upright. And that's what I love about this practice. A lot of the stretches are about being in that vertical neutral, being tall, neutral spine. So breathe through them. And really no stress on the joints. Worst part is maybe on the kneeling position, but you've got options there. And then we'll slowly come back into our center. Legs are out long and straight. We've got to roll down again here. So rolling down bone by bone as slow as you can go. So as slow as you can go. Reach and lengthen. Arms come back behind you. We're going to go ahead from here. Sweep those arms around. If you can, we're going to throw in one teaser at the end. So holding our teaser here. Breathe through them. Inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth. Bring it down an inch, up an inch. And now lower all the way down with control. If that doesn't work, bend the knees for this one. Reach and lengthen, arm comes back behind you. So breathe. Inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth. We're going to walk our feet back. So just coming into a little extra stretching for our lower body, a little bit more Pilates. Heels are in alignment with our hips. We're going to send those hips up to the top, taking it to a little bit of a bridge stretch. Hold here. Opening up in those hips. Breathe. Holding it up at the top. And just going down an inch, up an inch, trying to open up those hip flexors a little bit more. Maybe prayer hands behind the back so you have another opportunity to open up in the chest. So breathing through them. Chin is off the chest. for 3, 2, last one. Release the hands, come all the way back down, bone by bone. Once you touch down, we're gonna let our knees go out to the side, cactus the arms. Open up. So it should feel really good. So inhale through nose, exhale through mouth. So I'm throwing in a few extra stretches here since we won't be doing any sort of shavasana or breaking, but just kind of giving a couple extra stretches here towards the end that feel a little more relaxing. Take a big inhale. On the exhale, take it off to the other side. Look in the other direction. You're in this big stretch here. Opening up. Maybe trying to get that knee a little bit further down. One more breath cycle here, and then we slowly soften up, bring the feet right back in. We're going to bring the soles of the feet away, so a little butterfly of the feet. Press your hips away from you. So press down with the thighs, lengthen out, create some space, maybe a little sway of the knees, and release the hands to the thighs. If that feels better, to just kind of let them go with a little bit of movement or a little bit of pressing. So just a couple more breaths here. Close the legs like a book, bring them back together. Extension of the legs long and straight. Our final roll up here. So arms come back out. Pull the abdominals in. Hard flexing the feet. Heels to the ground. Pelvis firmly. Not moving at all. Come up bone by bone. Take your spine stretch forward. Reach and lengthen. Breathing through them. Rise to the top. We're going to bring one leg in front of the other. So one leg in front of the other. Hold out. So forearms to the mat, knees go down to the ground, big stretch. You could also be here just pressing with the heels of the hand, opening up in the chest. So taking it where you need to go. Inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth. One more stretch forward if you have that, and you're planting your feet down, so we're not letting ourselves rise. Take a nice big inhale. On the exhale, pull the abdominals in, travel up to the top. Bring the other leg in front. We fold forward again. So we have this nice stretch. We're heavy in our sits bones. We're trying to get our knees to relax and come down to the floor so we can really release any tightness in the hips. So breathing through these. Inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth. Maybe one more inch forward. Maybe it feels better to stay tall up at the top. And then from here, we're going to come into a kneeling position. If this doesn't work, stay in that last position. So we're just going to take it to a kneeling position in a mermaid where we reach to one side, reach to the other side. So if this doesn't feel good, you're going to go ahead and stay seated. One more time, mermaid on each. Reach and lengthen. One hand to the ground, ear in line with bicep on the inside. Abs are in, rib cage knitted close. Final one, and we'll just finish out with a little bit of Pilates breathing. So palms can rest up. So we're going to inhale through the nose, fill up the rib cage with air. Exhale, cinch the waist, belly button to spine. So inhale, fill up the rib cage with air. Try to not let the shoulders rise on this. Exhale, release any last bit of tension. Pull the belly button towards the spine. Our final breath cycle here. So inhale. And then on the exhale, releasing any last bit of tension. And then our arms go out in front. We're going to send our hips up. We got a nice big puppy stretch if you like this one. Walk the hands back. Send your hips up. You got elephant, so bring your heels down. Soften in the knees. Walk those hands back. Hug the back of the legs. Look at your knees. Release your hands and flow. Stack your spine up to the top. And we are done, guys. Awesome job. Thanks for staying with me today. I hope you guys like this. So glad you guys are tuning in. All right, see you soon. See you next Monday.